Hey folks, Deadly BBS here, and what a day to be a BBS player. We have a new banner, or information at least, on the upcoming September EOM banner, and a swath of what I believe are some pretty great updates, some of which have been implemented already, and then of course the Guild Quest update, which will be coming to us in a couple days. So I have never made a video on YouTube before, even though I've played BBS for years. It never really occurred to me that that'd be something I'd be interested in. And then after this new update, I realized I've had some cautious optimism in KLab for some time, and I feel like it's a little bit justified now. They have come such a long way from the days of 2016 to 2020. They've really, or even 2021, it seems like in the last 2 years, again, I took a break, I'm one of those 2 years, but it shocked me when I returned just how many of the updates we'd asked for they'd implemented, and now we're getting updates I never even thought about that are fantastic. So let me jump through, let's talk a bit. Let's start with the banner. Let's start with the banner because it's a cool banner. It's a Burn the Witch banner for those of you who don't know. I've spoiled it already, but so let's go into the banner itself. Maybe we could should we watch a trailer? I'm sure you guys watch the trailer on your own accounts. Let's start talking about these two lovelies, Nini and Noelle. Okay, it's a 2-character banner. We've seen this format a lot. In fact, the first Burn the Witch banner was a 2-character banner. Then we had a 1-character banner in Bruno, so at least it's not a 1-character banner. I'm fine. Every time we get Noelle and Nini, it's 2 characters. KLab has been doing really well, I think, compared to the days before the 1000 Year Blood War anime in giving us 3-character banners pretty consistently. I will take a 2-character banner occasionally and be happy with it. So 2 characters, both of which are pretty great, and we're going to talk about those in some detail. We have our Mind, Nini, and Heart, Noelle. So based on the characters we need most in each attribute, I would say Hollow for Mind and Soul Reaper for Heart. And it does appear that we get both of those killers. So they at least gave us attribute killers that we needed. I'm happy with that. Let's go. Let's do this. What do we got? What does it say up here? Nothing. Oh, it is the old banner format, as in the 4.5 to 1.5%, and you get a 5-star character featured at steps 5, 10, 15, and 20. It does have the pity system, so we've come a long way in that regard. I know the pity system is maybe not as generous as some people would like, but the fact that pity is in there now means it's only going to get better. That's how KLab operates. I've seen this now over 6 years. They take 1 step forward, they kind of test out the waters. If it looks like a positive development, they take 10 steps forward. So if we're getting pity now, and as well as that mid-month banner format we just saw, it means that good things are coming down the pike, I promise. We're going to see more of these changes in a positive direction. So I excuse KLab for now for not giving us the crazy mid-month banner format because, they got to protect their bottom line. They can't just give everybody a ton of 5 stars on one of the most anticipated banners. It makes sense, but it's just how it is. They're a company too. As long as they're giving us all these great updates, you know what? I'm fine with it. All right, let's look at the 2 characters. Nini is a range strong attack character with burn and weaken on every attack, and a new skill, which is going to be exactly what sets her apart, called Guild Rampage. We'll get to that in a second. Burn the Witch Halloween version, no affiliation unit with Hollow Killer. Our special is actually pretty cute. You get to see it in the video, but I'm not such a simp or anything, so for me, I'd rather get just strong characters, and thankfully that's what we do have. She is a very powerful character. Frenzy 1 on the gauge, that's going to be something that we need to put an asterisk on for now. So her gauge effect is what sets her apart. So let's talk about everything outside the gauge first. She's got Sprinter +1 and Long Stride. Okay, Long Stride's good. Sprinter +1 is standard. Fire duration 100% just means that she is immune to the fire in her GQ weeks. She's got Havoc 20, that's standard for somebody like her, an EOM character. Devastation 40 is also standard for an EOM character with a status ailment. What else is standard here? A Debilitator 5 seconds, which is nice given that she has burn, so that's like the 1000 Year Blood War Power Yama. That's 3 extra seconds on her burn should she proc, so that's nice. Together with weaken, that's a powerful combo. It's DOT and extra damage to hit enemies. So that's basically it for the general stuff. Sharpshooter, which has become more or less standard for EOM units. Well, not quite. Killgate didn't get it, right? Or E-burn, but still, good skill set. What sets her apart? Because it's not the Berserker 40 Frenzy 1. Even if you take into account the FSD 20, this is not a ton of damage for an EOM character in the current period. It's okay. 40 Berserker plus 20 FSD is like a 64% Berserker, but it's, I calculated it before. Maybe I'm off. Maybe it's 63% Berserker because it stacks better, the FSD boost. But still, what sets this character apart, it's not that damage, it's the gauge, because on her gauge, she gets the Frenzy 1. So Bruno, for example, he has Frenzy 2, Berserker 40. She has Frenzy 1, Berserker 60, but when she gets the gauge skill, she gets that extra Frenzy. So now she's hitting harder than Bruno, plus she's got everything he has with a Berserker of 100%, the Spiritual Pressure gauge effect of 50%, the gauge heal, and she has this really cool start gauge effect that I'm sure any of you playing with Bruno are familiar with. It just means when she starts, she is almost already filled up. So she gets that first gauge really quickly. What sets her apart from Bruno, and which may make her far better than even that Bruno, not far better, but noticeably better, is this gauge rampage skill. I watched the video, and it seems like her uptime on that gauge skill is massive. She's basically always using her gauge mechanic because she gets additional recharge on the gauge for enemies she kills. So even when you've activated the gauge, as long as she kills enough enemies, as soon as the gauge runs out, you can activate another. That is incredible. Together with that start gauge of 70%, she's almost always in gauge mode. I'm interested in how sweaty it's going to be to play as her, but she does a ton of damage. At gauge, when she procs that gauge, she's doing more damage than Kilgay when Kilgay has 100% damage rampage. Actually, it's close because she only has a 50% spiritual pressure boost, whereas he has an 80%, but she does have the Berserker 100 plus the extra Frenzy, so Frenzy 2, 60 Berserker with the 100% additional, the spiritual pressure gauge, and she heals herself, so she'll always be at FSD. I mean, it's just amazing. She is a powerhouse of powerhouses, depending on how much uptime she has on that gauge. In fact, she may even make a push for top mind unit. Obviously, White has a lot more value than she does because you have 2 killers, meaning twice as many guild quests, 4 times as many guild quests because he's a nuker with Marauder, and then he has a lot of crazy stuff. So maybe not quite White level, but just one notch below, the second best mind unit in the game easily. Okay, next character, Noelle. She is also a ranged strong attack character. She's got Weaken and Drain. Best combo you can have. Also no affiliation unit, as we'd expect. She's got Soul Reaper character. That's awesome. Killer. The last major Soul Reaper character we got for Heart was 6 Annie Eisen. The thing that's frustrating, though, is that she doesn't replace him, because as you'll see, Eisen, 6th Annie Eisen, who came out more than 2 years ago, is still going to be better than she is for standard PvE content. How is this possible? Eisen has aged so well. But what she'll be much better than him in is GQ and Epic Raids, because she is a nuker. She is essentially 1000 Year Blood War Yama. Oh, before I get to her, we'll talk about kits after. I'll tell you about kits after. So innate skills, she's got Sprinter 1 standard, she's got strong attack recharge, by the way, as her soul trait, okay. Sprinter 1 normal, paralysis duration, just make sure that she's immune in her week of GQ, and then Havoc 20%, standard for an EOM strong attack character. What else does she have? Before we look at all the good stuff, there are 2 skills that make me scratch my head. Bruiser 20%, we used to always get Bruiser 20, Berserker 20, or Bruiser 20, Berserker 40, whatever, some Bruiser with Berserker combo. But nowadays, we recognize that none of these characters are going to be used for their NAD, so you don't need Bruiser, and that's why characters even like this, Nini does not have Bruiser, which is how some of the best characters are built nowadays. Not only does this Noelle have Bruiser, she has follow-up. I don't understand Caleb's thinking on this. That's 2 essentially wasted skills. They could have done something there. I mean, she has essentially everything you'd want, but they could have given her, for example, hit hidden enemies. She could have gotten FSD, which would have been really nice on this character for reasons we'll discuss. But no, she gets Bruiser and follow-up. I'm not that salty, but... Oh, and this is a good time to mention, I forgot that Nini is an arena character, right? She gets the start power-up item 2, increase special move 1 with poise at 10, although most people won't get to level 10. That just means that she is going to be a very hard-hitting arena character. She starts with 60% extra stats, plus the extra spiritual pressure, the special move, and she's going to be cleaning house. Noelle is not. She is just a nuker, as we'll see here, but those 2 skills make me scratch my head, because Caleb's done so well in knowing their characters and what we use them for in general, even with the Oetsu quote-unquote debacle. But follow-up and Bruiser, I just can't make sense of it. Otherwise, though, she's great. She is Yama. She has everything Yama does. She's got Sharpshooter where he has Marauder. This is Power 1000 Year Blood War Yama. She's got the Spiritual Pressure boost, 80%. She's got damage to Drained and Weakened, plus 80 in total. He has damage to Burned and Weakened, plus 80 total. And she has Bombardment and Weakened defense. I mean, she is a house when it comes to the nuking Soul Reaper thing. She also has Berserker 40 as he does. Now, that might be disappointing for some of you, but Berserker 40 plus Status Ailment 80 is a pretty good combo as long as she can proc status ailments, and as you'll see, she has a very good SA2 that allows her to do that pretty consistently. So it's not bad, but she's mainly a nuker. But she is, as we'll see, substantially better than some characters like the Safwi Mayuri, who can't be played in PvE. He can be. People give him a hard time. He has the lunge 570 into the 750 second strong attack and a 960 AoE distant third strong attack with the trap mechanic, which means he doesn't get a lot of recharges. So that is definitely not as good as this Nini, or Noelle rather, as we'll see. Okay, all right. What else can I talk about this character? Not much. Not an arena character. Again, just going to be nuking the heck out of a lot of enemies. Again, the same power of 1000 Year Blood War Power Yama. And the only disappointment about this character is that she's not quite as good as that Power Yama because of her first strong attack. So let's get into the kits. So this Nini is pretty stacked with kits too. She has the kit of Heart Bruno, the cousin, her cousin in terms of strong attack kit and her general build. So she hits just like he does. Artbook Ichigo is another character that has her same kit, or the new mid-month Heart Ginjo, which might seem disappointing. A mid-month character got the same kit, but it's a classic kit. The 750 100 split 20 mag attack, which is kind of like a suction and then AoE distant attack on the first strong attack. Her second strong attack is the 960 AoE distant, which is, again, one of the best second strong attacks in the game, and then she has a full screen third. Standard, solid kit. You're going to have a ton of fun playing with her. Her visuals look amazing. Then you have this Noelle, who is a little bit lacking in the first strong attack department. She either has an 18 mag first strong attack, which is the range collision attack that Macy has, Speed Macy, that the renewed Tech Ichigo has, and the 8th anniversary Power Ichigo. They all have the 18 mag first strong attack. It could be a 40% attack. It's hard to see in the video. If it's the 40% range collision attack, then that will be substantially better. Then she's competing with Yama, who has the beam, because the 40% mag attack is pretty darn decent. But I think it's just the 18 mag. That said, she's saved by the second strong attack, which is the same second strong attack as the Power Yama, the 960 into 630 tracking. It's also the same strong attack that Speed Macy has. It's also the same strong attack that 6 Annie Eisen has. It's the best second strong attack in the game. And then she has a full screen third. So, not bad. Good kits, great characters. How does the rest of the banner look? Boom. Amazing. Now, you may be disappointed because we don't have other Burn the Witch characters here. And honestly, I'd give you right. We've become accustomed to getting Burn the Witch with Burn the Witch fillers. That said, they couldn't very well give us all the Burn the Witch characters we just got a few months ago. That'll probably be a separate banner to come out in October. Actually, it's more or less confirmed based on the Epic Raid bonus characters. But not that we'll talk about that when we get there. But this is still a great banner, guys. You have some top tier characters. 6 Annie Eisen, if you don't yet have him max transcended, here's your shot. He's an amazing character for basically every game mode. Even if he's doing a little bit less damage in terms of like relative to people in the SS tier with him, he's still just your all-rounder. The 7th Annie Ichigo, this is my one complaint about Noelle, is that most people aren't going to have this Noelle duped out, and if you don't, the 7th Annie Ichigo is just going to be better than she is. The 7th Annie Ichigo has everything she does aside from the extra damage to status element enemies and the built-in weakened defense. But he does have bombardment, he has weakening in general, and he has the status ailment 80 boost. So this Ichigo, if you have dupes into him, will be a better bet than the Noelle. Which just means, again, like unless you get her like 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and maybe at 3 out of 5 she's competing with that Ichigo, which would be like a max transcended Ichigo. It's just in general that Ichigo is probably still a better bet if you have dupes into him. He's still a great character, happy to see him in the banner. Everything else is interesting. These are all new premium characters. Yes, all these characters are premium, but you have some pretty solid characters you'd want to get dupes of. Power Stark is a FSD link, 30%, which is one of the better links in the game. Aside from that, he is an S tier character. He just has not the best first strong attack, but he's a mid-month character with Havoc. If you like Stark, he's the best Stark in the game. Then you have the Power Ishin, who is a top tier PvP character. I want him for that reason, but I think he's also going to be a hard hitter in like Guild Quest content. He has a pretty high bruiser with Flurry 2, as well as long reach and guard break. So he's good in every game mode, more or less. Powerful character, happy to get him. I don't have him yet because I was taking a break when his banner came out. But then we also have Speed Tensa, which is an SS tier character, one of the best speed characters in the game. I don't care that he's premium. He is like almost anniversary level. He is the best farmer along with Rengiku in the entire game, Heart Rengiku. He's got the beam first strong attack, 960 second, full screen third. He has the 30% droplet plus 5 link slot potion plus 5 super link slot potions. And in addition to his Berserker 60 and Pierce Iron Skin, he has the 100% damage to non-status afflicted enemies. He does slightly more damage than the Heart Ichigo does, and he's a farmer. So this character is, like, you can't underestimate the power of this character. He is still, you know, if he came out today, I'd be chasing him. Obviously he's not that old, he's only a few months old, but if he came out in a main banner, he would be enough for me to be a banner character in like today's banner, for example. After that, we have Mind Shuhei, who is a decent, definitely S tier mid-month. He's like Stark, another Havoc mid-month character, and personally I'm so excited to see this because I'm going to do a massive tier list of all the mid-month characters, and one of the categories I'll be ranking characters is the Havoc mid-months. That is the new Ukiora, who I just pulled from tickets. That's the Heart Ginjo, which I also have. That's the Tech Jushiro, who I do not have, sadly, so I won't be able to showcase him. But then it's the Power Stark and the Mind Shuhei. So I'd love to pick up these units for a showcase. He's also great. He's got 40% Berserker plus 20% Team Party buff, and his kit is great. It's a melee collision kit. The only reason he's not as good as the Heart Ginjo is because his second strong attack is a 750 AoE distant instead of a 960 AoE distant. But he's a great character. And then finally, Gantenbin, which is not a great character to play as, mind you. He doesn't have Havoc, and he doesn't have a lot of range in general. He has like a lunge-based kit. But he is still amazing value because he gives you 5 link slot potions, power link slot potions, as a soul trait. So Gantenbin is a great pickup. If you don't have him, grab him. If you have him, getting him 5/5 is not a bad gig because you're going to be linking him to so many characters. So what a great filler list. Yes, they're premium, but these are top tier premium units. So I'm stoked. I can't wait for the banner to drop. And yeah, we'll talk about it more when that happens. But now I've taken a lot of your time and I apologize. I want to look at the rest of the news. So the next big bit of news, quote unquote, would be, at least in my opinion, would be the, you know what, let's start with resurrection characters. Let's talk a little bit more about, you know, we just talked about characters. Let's do it. We got Aizen, Shunsui, and the Shinji, Speed Shinji. These characters came out a long time ago, 2018. In fact, we skipped their resurrections for some time, and I thought we would never get them because we have Chronicle Quest characters here. But we did finally get them, which makes me a little sad because it means we were about to get the Mind Koga as a resurrection because we skipped a lot of others, and I thought we were going to get him, and now if we're going back and doing all the premium characters we skipped, it's going to take time. No, it's not what I wanted. But these character resurrections were pretty sweet. Actually pretty great. This Aizen, very playable. Did he get any huge upgrades? No, he just got the standard ones. What he needed was Havoc and more damage, and that's exactly what he got. His soul trait is 16% extra damage, which in addition to his Berserker 20 means he has a 36% Berserker, along with the weaken that he has on his strong attacks. You know, that's a fine amount of damage. You can use him pretty much anywhere, especially if he's 5/5. Then he needed Havoc, and he got it. So that's it. That's all he has, but it's good enough. He's a great link, and he can be used as a player. If you like Aizen, this Aizen's pretty cool. He's got the beam, first strong attack, 870 beam. He has a crawling vortex SA2. Obviously, it's not the best, but then he has a full screen third. He has the same exact kit as Christmas Ninny. So if you play with Christmas Ninny, that's what he has to offer. And honestly, almost comparable damage. He does 15% about less damage than that Ninny does. Obviously, the Ninny has increased status ailment chance, but he is that powerful now. You can use him. He's fine. He's, you know, good upgrade. Solid upgrade all around. This Shunsui, by far the most interesting. So he was always one of those like hybrid NAD characters that used to come out. So he did not have, he never had Flurry. So the question is, will he get Flurry? And he does not, but something that he does get, I think, is even better. I feel so sad. I could have had this character 5/5 by now, but I've been selling his dupes because I thought we'd never get him resurrected. And here we are, and I could have had a 5/5 version of him. First of all, great soul trait. 20% NAD plus 16 full stam is a great combo, particularly for like immunity characters, or sorry, invincibility characters in Brave battles, like the new resurrected 4th Annie Ichigo, but of course the Yama, Mind Yama, is the most famous example. So he's just going to be doing tons of damage. Obviously, he's not good if you're putting him up against characters who can ignore invincibility, but he's also just a good link in general for potentially for GQ. We'll have to see how well you can protect your NAD units. But this is a ton of damage. I like to see it. We don't have enough of these links in the game. So that's great for a NAD unit. What else does he have? Also, by the way, boosts himself. No flurry. Oh no, are we in trouble? No, because we got damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. And here's going to be my argument as to why that's better. First of all, if we compared just if he had gotten, 50% extra bruiser, which would have led to flurry, right? If he had gotten flurry, I'm going to argue damage to enemies not afflicted by status ailment actually stacks better. If he had had a status ailment, which he does not, I would argue, well, okay, maybe it would have been better just to get the extra hits, but he doesn't. And this damage 50 applies now to everything. It applies to his Berserker, so his strong attacks, as well as his special. And this is why I think it was a great upgrade. Because with the full stam 16% and the 50%, he hits hard on his strong attacks. In fact, you can build him hybrid and have a ton of fun. He has a good kit. So you can do that. You can get away with building this character hybrid. I love that. He's gotten a wrong card killer. I should have mentioned the Power Eisen as a holo killer. But you can use this guy hybrid. And his Soul Bomb hits hard, certainly harder than any other NAD character in the game. Because he has Devastation 40, which not all NAD characters get. But then he's got Weakened Defense, FSD 16%, and the damage to enemies not afflicted by a status ailment 50. So this is just an all-around great character. And you know what he'll be really good in? Will be just farming Chronicle Quest. It's hard with an SP character to do so. So right now, Chronicle Quest Part 3, I use my Max Transcended Heart Kenpachi, but I'm sure not everybody has a Max Transcended Heart Kenpachi, in which case this guy is your best bet. In fact, he may be more consistent than that Kenpachi. So they just made him a great farmer for Chronicle Quest, a great link, and somebody you can play around with if you like Shunsui. I'm so happy with the Resurrection, and I hope we see more of these damage to enemies not afflicted by a status ailment skills on other Resurrections. Finally, we get Shinji. Now, Shinji is the worst Resurrection, but I need to just give a little defense of Shinji. Shinji's always been a confused character. He was a strong attack character that came out without recharge and DR instead. He is a DR 20 soul trait. So K-Lab seemed to be didn't understand his value when he released. He got NAD 16. Let me tell you why that was the best outcome. The secret of Shinji has always been that he's a decent SP character. He's got an all melee collision attack kit, and he has a transform mechanic on his soul bomb, so it was always so frustrating that he didn't get recharge. If they'd given him recharge, they would have made him a better character, but he is now not good enough to be a great character by himself. You can still play him. You have him max transcended. He's going to do just fine. But they went the other route, which is make him a great link. And this is the best link you could have. Now with him and Mishiro in speed, my Chad is going to be so great. But no, it's a great link. Even for GQ, if the difficulty on GQ is a little bit higher than we're counting on and it's hard to keep your NAD units alive, DR20, NAD 16 might be the best link you can put on. So I am happy with this. This is a solid soul trait. And then outside of that, he didn't get Havoc. He did get FSD 20 plus damage to confused enemies, so they increased his damage. But, and Recover 20 stamina is nice, but, he's nothing crazy. He would have needed Havoc and a lot more damage, not just the 20% and the conditional status element 20%. Look, if you have a max transcended, this character, the secret of his character, like I said, is that he's always been good. But as far as I'm concerned, his strength right now is simply the link. So great batch of Resurrections. To have this as Resurrections outside of 1,000 Year Blood War gives me so much hope. If we can make characters like this good again, then I just can't wait to see the Senjumaru and Tenjiro Resurrections. So, all right, that's nice. And the Koga, mind you, the Mind Koga, because I've been worried that only 1,000 Year Blood War gets special treatment, but that was pretty special treatment we just saw on those characters. Okay, finally, let's talk about the update. Guild Quest, I want to talk about last. We can look quickly at the Epic Raid. I said before that I'm pretty sure we're going to get the Parasol Burn the Witch characters in October, a rerun banner. And this gives me not more, not less hope. This gives us nothing. Normally you can look at the Epic Raid characters and you know who's coming back. But they just recycled this Epic Raid, so we have the same characters we did last time, so there's no way to read into what banners are coming in October. So it's kind of fun, right? Total surprise. What's coming in October, we have no idea. We're just going to find out when we get there. Now, a lot of these characters are just a tad bit outdated, granted. We don't have that. Let's see what we got. So in tech, obviously Arpa Ichigo is going to hit like a tank. You can do great with him. But we don't have any tech pot characters here. So you're going to have to bring other tech pot characters. 1,000 Year Blood War Uryu, or the Grimjaw, or a Hime, or I'm missing some, I know, but the new Ruruka. So yeah, you have to bring your own. Choose your own adventure. Then we have for Heart, we have the wow, going back to the first Heart pot character. So we're going, and actually first power pot character in Ruruka. She was, I think, the first Link Slot character in general. So we're going back to the OG Link Slot characters, or Link Slot potion characters. So you're going to use that Rukia, I imagine. Oh no, Nini. How did I miss Nini? Of course, you're going to use Nini or that Rukia. Both are good choices. You might think it's easy, just, I'll always use that Nini. But actually, this Rukia has a charge 3rd strong attack together with an AoE melee collision 2nd strong attack. So her damage is going to be pretty competitive with Nini's damage. So you might have to consider. In terms of power units, we do have the Ruruka, which I do not look forward to clearing this epic raid with Ruruka. It is, however, not an awakened epic raid, so I think we'll be just fine. I think you can use her and do just fine. Obviously, Bruno and the Nanao are good characters. We got one good support and one powerhouse, so you can use those guys to clear quickly or get the pot characters with Ruruka. In terms of speed characters, we've got a ton of options. You can use the Noelle, who's the best bet by far because she can nuke like crazy and she's a pot character, so speed is going to be so easy to clear. It's just going to be like 3 Noelles, each of which destroy one phase with their soul bomb. So I can't wait for that. Then you have the Party Time Grimjaw and the Speed Momo. And Speed Momo, I know we hate on her, but she's not bad for epic raids. I mean, yes, you have to get up close. Never mind, she's bad for epic raids. But the Party Time Grimjaw is good. And then finally, that Kugo Ginjo, you might think, he's got no use here. He does. He's a power droplet character. And so he's a pretty strong character. You could use him just fine. All right, finally, we have the Kisuke. Kisuke is enough said. You're going to use Kisuke for Mind, and you're good to go. You're good to go for the Cinderella epic raid. I hope that wasn't too long. I apologize. Finally, we're going to look at this version 15.3.0 update. Player rank. This reward, okay, I didn't do the math, but let's do it now. So we've just increased player rank to 200 with tons of rewards. This is amazing. I can't put it into context. Remember a few years ago we got 600 orbs for playing co-op. That was like a new update that they gave us, and it was just like a gift. K-Lab giving us 600 orbs, which is uncharacteristic in many cases, right? 600 orbs is a lot of money if you were to buy those. Now they're giving us even more, as well as additional updates, and they're spacing it out over time. So every time you use a soul ticket, you get 1 experience point. To get to the next rank right now, it's 100 experience points. That means you have to use 100 soul tickets. Alternatively, you can fight in brave battles. Each battle is worth 3 experience points, so 100 brave battles would give you 300 XP. Now, the rewards are as such. Every rank, you get 5 orbs at least, but in rank is multiples of 5, you get 25 orbs, unless it's 100 or 200, those ranks, at which point you get 100 orbs, or 60, 80, 120, 160, or 70, 90, 140, 180, where you get a 5-star summons ticket or a 5-star accessory ticket, respectively. What does this mean? Actually, I didn't calculate the bonuses, so I'm going to have to do so now. This means you get this to be 30 instances out of the 150 additional, so it's 120 times 5 plus 200 plus 9. It's about 1,300 orbs, 1,300 extra orbs, 5 5-star summons tickets, and 5 5-star accessory tickets. And if these accessory tickets are like the assist point accessory tickets where you're guaranteed a special 5-star item, this is amazing. I mean, this is like, for a veteran player, this is it's just like it's like K-Lab is just using its thumb to rub the tear out of my eye, because orb sources are so hard to come by. The only reason I have 4,000 orbs right now is because I didn't play for a while. So I have now a lot of resurrection characters I could use and other content I could clear. But otherwise, at a certain point as a veteran, you run out of orb sources. And now I have not only additional orbs, but I have something to look forward to when I log in. I can build towards 5-star tickets or extra orbs. I mean, this is just something that will increase my enjoyment. It'll add an additional reward that I can go after every day. I mean, I gotta give K-Lab credit. They have been increasing rewards everywhere, from like Limit Breaker quests where we get Transcendence points as well as orbs. Brave Battles, they updated the rewards. Many of the things that we get in the game, the rewards are better now, and it was so needed. The assist point system was awesome. I loved assist points because it gave me something to work towards. Instead of just grinding the point event, I could grind, let's say, epic raids and help out a bunch of newbies, and in so doing, get some cool rewards. So I am such a fan of this rank system. I can't even put it into words. I love this. K-Lab, amazing job. It was basically this update, more or less, that prompted me to decide, you know what, I'm going to start doing YouTube videos on BBS. So good job, seriously. Finally, we have the Guild Quest update we'll talk about in a second, and then we have Battle Power. Now, Battle Power is interesting. It seems to be based on your character stats, link slot levels, Transcendence, and Resurrections. I don't believe, based on my testing, it takes into account accessories on your characters. In other words, putting accessories on all your characters to increase your battle power won't work, which I love because I only have like 2 of each accessory. Obviously, I have many duplicates of 5-star accessories, but if it just became like how much accessories you have listed on your character, like I would put on all these like duplicate 5-stars and stuff just to increase their stats in order to get higher battle power. But I don't think that's how it works because I decked out some characters and it did not move my battle power at all. Now, granted, I'm going to show you my battle power. It's not going to look so impressive because, again, I haven't played for a year. I mean, I've been playing the last month, but okay, all right, it's not bad. I'm happy with that. But as I get more characters, it'll go up, and that's the same for everybody else. So, all right, not a bad deal at all. There's my max Transcendent Yama. Yeah, I am happy with that update. And the final update I want to talk about is the Guild Quest update. Now, most of us veteran players have been looking forward to this because for a while now, hard GQ has become not trivialized, but made a lot easier by the nukers that we have, and we have nukers in essentially every category. But I do have one major concern. Oh yeah, character packs. We're getting Oetsu, guys. If you don't have Oetsu or Ichibei or Orihime, you can buy them tomorrow. Wait, where's this? Oh, the one thing I want to talk about is the new GQ schedule, as well as potential changes to the map. And this is my potential gripe with the GQ change. The problem with the Guild Quest update is that it may devalue nukers. We're going to have to see if that's the case. But there's one critical thing, and everything is like it was previously, aside from the fact that, you don't anymore get rewards for clearing waves. It's a score-based reward system, which is kind of cool, I think. The other difficulty is here. So rules are the same. Enemies have higher stats. That's the only thing, which means levels, Transcendence is only more important in terms of getting your attack very high, giving your SP very high, because you have to get over their defense threshold. But that's actually not a big problem. It increases the value of some characters, like older characters, for example, that you might have max transcended, because even if some character has crazy multipliers, they may not have high enough attack stat to get through, or SP stat to get through the enemy's defense. So again, I like that it adds value in case you have like old premium characters you want to use. You may actually be better off than somebody who has a new character that's overpowered, but only 1 out of 5. Okay, so the main gripe I have, it's actually kind of 2 gripes. The first one is this wave change. So it says they're scattered around the map, and you know that means, and you can't attack while they're appearing. So the scattered around the map, if they're too scattered, it means nuking doesn't work. And if there's something that interrupts you between waves, it could also mean that nuking won't work. Now nuking, again, the whole point of a harder GQ is that you can't just nuke all the way to the end. But if you can't clear at least 2 waves of enemies with a nuker, then their value falls pretty substantially. Unless it's like that final wave is so hard to kill, you need a nuker to do it. But the problem is a lot of the nukers in the game, with the exception maybe of Bambietta, don't have very great or at least competitive damage if they're just using their strong attacks. You know, Yama is an amazing character, but if you're going to judge him on strong attacks alone, then somebody like Kilgay is just going to run through him. So I'm a little bit concerned, given that I've invested a lot in nukers, but I'm not going to get too excited one way or the other, because we're going to have to see what happens when the actual update drops. And I doubt they would totally devalue nukers, especially because Noelle is a nuker and she's on the newest banner. But we're going to have to see how that progresses. The final thing is that they did do what I was afraid of, which is add an additional week of GQ. They split Squad Zero Human and Quincy Sternritter into 2 separate GQs. Okay, my brief thoughts on that. Quincy Sternritter, not such a big deal because we have Yama. Yama is still going to eat that entire, week of GQ because he's got Quincy Killer. Squad Zero Human. Well, I will say that the Safwi Tosh is finally getting his just desserts because he's probably the best unit for that GQ now. So if you've worked on your Safwi Tosh, awesome. Also, Quincy Ichigo is going to be good for this, although I'm going to argue Safwi Tosh is now going to be much better. Not only does he have Bombardment, for example, even though Quincy Ichigo hits so hard on a Soul Bomb that if you have dupes, forget it, but not only does he have Bombardment, but if waves take longer to clear, that gauge skill is going to come into effect. So that Toshiro might be a pretty decent unit to use for this. He also has Soul Reaper plus Squad Zero Killer, so that's going to be a stack the way that Power Rukia, for example, stacks on Espada week, or Yatru stacks on Captain week. It's like extra multipliers because of 2 killers. But, we'll have to see how this goes. We'll have to see. I'll have to go through. I might do a whole video just talking about the new best characters to use for that week of Guild Quest, or, maybe not the best in case you're missing certain units. What are your second best options, etc. But that's it. Everything other than that, it looks about the same. It's just enemies are harder. There might be some changes in how they move around the map. We're going to have to see what that means for nukers, and there's a new week of GQ. But this is enough. This is all they needed. I did not want an entirely new game mode, because then all bets are off. Then K-Lab's just going to use it as an opportunity to sell brand new characters again. They constrained themselves here. They didn't want to just cram a whole new mode down our throats so that the meta shifts and we have to buy new characters. They are allowing the existing meta to have viability in the new one, and we're just going to see what the small changes mean for, the absolute top Guild Quest clearers. We're going to see that later. Anyways, that's it for the news. Wow, that was a crazy week. I'm sorry I talked so long. I appreciate anybody who watched the video. I'm thinking about doing some giveaways and stuff to try to reward those who have to listen to me just talking, droning on. My next video will probably be a tier list for mid-month characters. It's something I've been working on for a little while, or at least stewing over. I will do a showcase of this Ukiora. Maybe I'll do that first. I actually think this is a really decent unit. Obviously, he's not quite EOM level, but he is the best of what I'm calling the Havoc mid-month characters. So I'm going to showcase him, do a bit of a deep dive as to why I think he's underrated, and then maybe do that tier list where I rank all the best Havoc mid-months, the best valuable characters, the best NAD characters, and then put a big tier list together, which is only the best of the best. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Thank you.